Hello, I'm going to go over your week 3 work. This term we are going to go, week, sorry. We're going to go over we're going to basically talk about job analysis. Specifically here we've got job-based structures and job evaluation as well. So the discussion question this week is going to talk about job evaluation. So basically that's just a systematic way of determining the value of a job in relation to other jobs. And there's many ways to do this. There's different methods, and you have to determine if there's an advantage to using more than one in your organization. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way here. Oops. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using more than one type of method plan here? So for specifically this week, we're going to talk about how a job is valued, basically. And sometimes you'll see an organization come at it from, okay, we need to do job analysis on this current job that we have now. We need to look at all aspects of it and see if it's up to date. Or you might have a situation where you are starting a company or a business, and you have to come up with the jobs that you need to fill. So basically you have to start from your overall vision and what your strategy, your vision of the company, what you wanted, what's the purpose, and then you have to from there derive jobs from that, because you have to figure out what duties need to be done and what kind of categories that's going to fall under. And you can see where I'm going here, and you have the process of basically building up a job from scratch, where you have to determine, I need this done, and this is the kind of person I need to do it. And that is the most bare bones way I can kind of explain it. But in a bigger organization, I can give you an actual example. We had a customer service position. Worked at a call center. This was a long time ago, so it was before email got really big as far as using it to communicate with organizations. So you had call center reps that were answering phone calls, but some of these call reps were pulled off the phones and put on email duty. Well, that's great, but the job description and all that focused on phone calls. So the metrics and everything was based on phone calls. And this new position really was kind of like, we're going to pull these phone people off here, the phones, to answer emails through our website. Well, that's great, but that's a different job. It requires different skills. There's a difference between someone providing customer service on a phone, verbally, versus someone written communication. One must be very careful in written communication because it's there forever. So there were inherently different skills needed for either one of these positions. So eventually that job had to be reanalyzed and split to where the email reps had their own job descriptions and their own skill sets and competencies. So this is a reason why you would do a job analysis, because sometimes it has to do with a person in a job taking over or absorbing other tasks from other jobs due to layoffs, reorganizations. Sometimes it has to do with the technology used for the job changes the job, and therefore it's not the job that it used to be. Therefore it needs to be reevaluated, and the job description needs to be updated. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. For your milestone assignment, So what you're going to do is, again, get in your groups, divvy up the portions of the project, and do research on your portion. That's the easiest way to do it. Please make sure to use reputable periodicals, journals. Forbes, Business Week, Bloomberg is fine. Society for Human Resources would be good. This here, definitely avoid these sites. They're not credible. They're not, anyone can update those sites. Please don't use those kinds of sites. Make sure to use articles that have to be vetted, have to be reviewed by a panel before they can be published. And anything I just mentioned, any journals and articles from professional associations like, for example, the Society of Human Resource Management would be included in that. So write a summary for each article that you find, and then provide a minimum of 4 sources. So basically 4 summaries. And just write it like an essay. I mean, just introduce, give me a quick introduction. I need a short conclusion, but the body of it should be just the summary of each article. That's all it is. APA format is required. And when I say that, I'm looking for I don't know, what was that? Sorry, I have a funny, let me try this again. I'm just gonna, there we go. APA. There we go. Use this as a resource. It's a great resource. Let's see here. There we go. Formatting and Style Guide. I use this all the time. It has examples and templates, which means it gives you exactly the arrangement of information and an example in many instances. So please make sure to use that. Here's a step-by-step on, well, that's deciding the owl, but at Purdue, owl. Here's a sample paper. I use this because it's a good model. You can download this and just kind of go through it. As you're writing your paper, just make sure to kind of follow these little, guidelines, because it will point and tell you where everything should be. I don't really care if you give me an abstract for this, because it's a summary of articles. You will need it in the final product, I believe. Let me see. Anyway, you can use that website. Let me just double check the group project. I think that's the name. Is that a... Here we go. Alright, the reason I stopped myself right there is because I couldn't remember if this is supposed to be a PowerPoint or a paper. Just want to say, I'm going to give you the option, but I will tell you this. If you're giving me a PowerPoint, then most of what you write should be in the speaker notes area, because you wouldn't read right off of a presentation if you wanted to do it that way. So, again, you can do it in Word, or you could make a PowerPoint, but that PowerPoint will need to have just bullets for the slides, summary bullets, and most of exactly what you would write would need to be in the notes area, and it would still need to be cited in APA style. But if you're writing in a Word document, the whole thing needs to be structured in APA style. The reason there's a differentiation there is because in Word, you can format it correctly in APA style. In PowerPoint, you're not going to be able to single space in the notes area effectively. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to indent correctly either. But I'll give it a break if you want to do it in PowerPoint. But the citations and reference slide should be correct. Whenever you do a PowerPoint, you need to have a reference slide. But the notes area should contain most of the information, and not in properly written, just like an essay. So I'll give you the your team can make that call. Let's just go here. Okay, so your rubric for this is talking about the project. It says here the group project topic will be posted on the message board by the end of week 1. Honestly, I think that I got the group ready around week 2, maybe the beginning of week 2, if I'm not mistaken. So just pick a the topic actually. I don't know why that says that, because the topic's already. Yeah, it's compensation plan, so the topic's already chosen for you. Sometimes these rubrics are a little bit generic. I'm going to have them fix that for next term. Anyway. But yes, I will be grading it as a team. I'm looking for content, composition. I've done a lot of these projects or in different courses where there's a comprehensive benefits plan, because I teach HR in different schools. So I am looking at realistic plans here. Sometimes you'll have students come up with some fantastical things that just wouldn't really happen. Now, that's not to say that there are some niche benefits or unique benefits that you could offer. Most of the time when I'm talking about something extravagant, it's like something that would cost a ton of money that a company would not do, would be unlikely to do. Just don't go to that route. Be reasonable about budgeting and stuff like that. Week 3 assignment is 5% of your grade. So that's just the sources. The whole PowerPoint is 30%. Since it says PowerPoint. I'm going to give you the option. I'll take a paper. I'll take a PowerPoint. But the difference is the PowerPoint is going to be not be able to be completely APA formatted. Is not going to be able to be correct APA format. So to make up for that weakness of it, I'm looking for professional visual appeal. So don't give me a white background PowerPoint, and I'll take points off for that, because that's boring. Nobody wants to see that, a real plain PowerPoint. You have to be discerning about professional looking PowerPoint here, and then that's what I want to see. Something that I wouldn't be embarrassed to show in a room full of people. So that's it, I guess. This is all the same stuff here. But, I like giving, some students just aren't into PowerPoints, and I like PowerPoints myself, but if you're going, like I said, if you're going to submit it as a paper, make sure it's in APA style, and I will be looking for that if it's in Word. I will be looking for it to be formatted like this. Okay, so those are your options. It's good to have some choices. Here is, it's the skill inventory, ground rules. All that stuff is for teamwork, so make sure that you have yourselves, there's going to be situations where somebody's not showing up and participating. I need to know about that. There's going to be situations where there might be some confusion. Just let me know if there's any problems with your team, any kind of conflicts, any kind of disrespectful behavior, anything like that, let me know, but that rarely happens. It's happened before, but it's been a long time, so I know I have to say these things, but I know that everyone knows how to conduct themselves 99.9% of the time in these classes, so. That's about it. If you have any issues with the quiz or any other parts of the assignments, let me know. Sometimes, and I know I mentioned it before, but if your book says something and you get the question wrong, just make sure the wording isn't tricking you and let me know, because it might just be a new version of the book. It says something different. Or there, sometimes, quite frankly, new research will come out to dispute something that was stated earlier. I mean, that's happened before. You never know. So just make sure to let me know. I'm going to go back up to week 3. And I've already talked about your project, so I'll probably just go ahead and tell you on week 6, go back to week 3. And why am I doing that? Because a lot of people want to work on it earlier. You already are working on a milestone. You might want to think ahead to what you want to do. And I certainly don't blame you for that. What I might try to do is offer some examples of compensation plans at that time. But I just want to I like to talk about big projects early, because I want students to be able to work on them early and get the parts, ready if they would like. So that's why I went ahead and talked about that. And that's about it for this week. If you have any questions about the class so far, any comments, any feedback, just let me know. I don't get upset about, I don't mind some criticism of my class, because, it's always a work in progress. And this is a class that, it's weird, I haven't taught it in a while. I don't know who's been teaching it, because I wrote it, so there are some errors, there's some things that I would change at this point, because I've changed. They'll probably be different next term. So anyway, it's an evolving course, it is. So, and these team projects are just kind of part of a lot of courses, because that's just the way it is in the corporate America. If you're going to work, there's a lot of project and team-based work these days. So I look forward to hearing from you and seeing how your team progresses. It looks like a lot of you have already started communicating. That's wonderful. And if you find that you're stuck, or if you find that you're working on things and you can't get a hold of somebody in your team or whatever, just communicate with me and I'll try to intervene and help when I can. So thanks for listening to my video this week, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And again, text me if you run into any problems with finding sources or anything. But you should be able to find sources related to your topic. I find that there's a lot of research out there about each of the areas. So it should be pretty easy to find things. Okay, thank you, and have a great evening.